Okay, class, today we are going to learn about words that we see and hear all around us every day, but we don't realize there's anything special about these words. I'm going to show you three things, and I want you to think about these three things and think about what their names might have in common, okay? What is this? Birdhouse. Very good. And what is this? Okay, Samantha?
A football.
A football. And this big old thing that we carry around all the time. Ellie?
A backpack.
Very good. So can any of you think about what these three objects might have in common with their names? Samantha?
We have two words that make one. Which are compound words?
Very good, Samantha. You're clearly smarter than the average first grader. We are learning about compound words today. Yes, that is correct. Compound words are when you have two separate words that when you put them together, they create a new word. So, first, let's look at birdhouse. And then we'll write football. And then we'll write backpack. Okay, so Ellie, whenever you see the word foot, what do you think of? Your foot? And whenever you see the word ball, what do you think of? A ball, very good. But when you combine those two words together to make football, you end up with something that looks like this that has nothing to do with your foot, does it?
Football, you have to use your foot to kick it.
Well, of course, Samantha, you do have to use your foot to kick it if you are a kicker. But do you see? And then here, let's look at birdhouse. Samantha, what do you think of when you see the word bird?
My pretty birds.
Your pretty birds, right. And when you see the word house, what do you think of?
Birdhouse.
Our house, exactly. So when we put birdhouse together, we come up with this beautiful birdhouse that my little girl made for me many years ago. And it's also a nice place for a bird to live if we didn't have such bad weather here that would destroy it if it were outside. Okay, so now we're going to look at a completely different word. The same concept. Let's use red here. Okay, can you see this word?
No, you can see a white board.
Okay, great. The word is meatball. Can somebody tell me what two words make up the one word of meatball? Ellie.
Meat and ball.
Meat and ball. Very good. Which leads us into our story. Now I know we've all heard Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, right? All right. So this book here is full of compound words. They're through almost every page. There's at least one compound word in this book. And what you will find is once you learn about how compound words work, that they are in almost everything that you read. Okay, Ellie, yes?
On the cover, there's the word meatball.
That's right, because that's the title of the book. Okay, so now we're going to listen to what I'm going to read here, because I want you to think really hard about the words. And if you hear one that you think might be a compound word, I want you to store it up here in your brain for when I'm done with my section. I will call on you and see if you can tell me any that you heard. Okay? Do we understand? Okay. That night, touched off by the pancake incident at breakfast, Grandpa told us the best tall-tale bedtime story he'd ever told. Across an ocean, over lots of huge, bumpy mountains, across 3 hot deserts and 1 smaller ocean, there lay the tiny town of Chew and Swallow. In most ways, it was very much like any other tiny town. It had a main street lined with stores, houses with trees, and gardens around them, a schoolhouse, and 300 people, and some assorted cats and dogs. But there were no food stores in the town of Chew and Swallow. They didn't need any. The sky supplied all the food that they could possibly want. The only thing that was really different about Chew and Swallow was its weather. It came 3 times a day, at breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything that everyone ate came from the sky. Whatever the weather served, that was what they ate. But it never rained rain, it never snowed snow, and it never blew just wind. It rained things like soup and juice. It snowed mashed potatoes and green peas, and sometimes the wind blew in storms of hamburgers. You see, there's our storm of hamburgers.
Yummy!
The people could watch the weather report on television in the morning, and they would even hear a prediction for the next day's food. When the townspeople went outside, they carried their plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, and napkins with them. That way they would always be prepared for any kind of weather. If there were leftovers, and there usually were, people would take them home, put them in their refrigerators in case they got hungry between meals. The menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny side-up eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast, butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast, and most of the time, it rained milk afterwards. For lunch one day, Frankfurters were already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the wind shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. Okay, can anybody tell me any compound words that they might have heard in that story?